My name is Gill Castle. I am from Annika, Northumberland. I have my own charity called Chameleon Buddies, and we support women in Northumberland and in Kenya who are adapting to childbirth injuries and stoma surgery. So I've had my stoma. I've got a colostomy, which means it's formed from the large bowel. I've had that since the birth of my only child, Sam, back in October 2011. At the time I was a police officer down in West Yorkshire, and unfortunately, because of the injuries I sustained in his birth and the mental health problems that I subsequently acquired, including PTSD, etc., etc., I was medically discharged out of the police. But after a rough few years, I think you would call it, turned my life around, and I've set up my own charity, and I do a lot of advocacy for women who have been injured in childbirth. So the channel swim that I did in 2023 was one of my madder spontaneous ideas that I've had. So back in the day, so that's what, 3.5 years ago now, I was really scared of the sea because I'd watched Jaws when I was 8. I hadn't swum more than a mile in the open water, never swum out of my depth, never swum next to a boat, never swum in the dark, and I also had a shoulder injury at that time. So it was, well, a challenge is sort of understating it, shall we say. So I had to learn to swim by myself next to a boat. I had to swim up to 7 hours at a time. I was swimming in the pool for 5 hours at a time. I was swimming in the local beaches here in Northumberland for 4 or 5 hours. You're only allowed to wear a swimming costume, hat, pair of goggles. And yeah, it was a very, very difficult training exercise, and I learned a heck of a lot about myself when I was doing it. And I also learned a lot about managing my stoma, and like you've said, I was the first person in the world to complete the 21 miles from Dover to France with a stoma. And yeah, I mean, basically once I got back on the boat after I touched the shore in France, I had a message from someone to say that they'd just seen on Twitter that a guy whose daughter has a stoma had gone out to buy her first swimming costume. So that's what it's all about. My charity is called Chameleon Buddies, and I set that up in July 2022. And what we do is we send out stoma supplies to these ladies who are adapting to having a stoma as a result of fistula, which is what I had as a result of having a baby. Unfortunately, unlike us in the UK, they don't have access to stoma products, like stoma bags. So they use crisp packets, they use bits of cloth, anything that they can find really, tin cans, anything to try and contain the waste. So what we do is we supply them with stoma bags. We also run a peer support group. So we went back there for the second time last year and actually took a lady called Claire Ryan, who's from Whitley Bay, who used to be my stoma nurse, and she came with us and she actually ran clinics for the first time with the ladies. So that was absolutely fantastic, because you know, that's the proper medical care that they really need as well, alongside the emotional support that we provide as well. Inclusion to me basically means that we accept absolutely everybody. We give everybody equal opportunities to be their true self, I guess. It's not about where you're from, it's not about the money that you've got, it's not about the colour of your skin, it's not about whether you've got a stoma or you haven't got a stoma, or you've had a baby or you haven't had a baby. You know, it's about treating everybody the same. And that's it. You don't have to overcomplicate it.